When the disciples asked about the temple in Jerusalem being destroyed in the book of Matthew, they asked Jesus, "What is the sign of your parousia?" Many people assume that since this mentions Jesus coming, it's referring to the second advent. However, this is not so. Most of what I will be stating in this video is either a direct quote or paraphrase from Sam Frost's work, The Parousia of the Son of Man. But this is only an introduction to his work, so I highly recommend you visit Sam's blog where you can get a deeper understanding of the subject and also purchase his book. It's at vigil.blog. And now on to the subject matter. The idea or concept of his parousia is not first introduced in Matthew 24:3. Remember that there are 23 chapters before this one, so we can safely assume that the parousia is at least hinted at somewhere in those chapters. Moreover, Matthew is the only gospel to use the term parousia, but the idea is found in the other gospels. This illustrates the first point. We do not need the word parousia to have an understanding of what it meant. The word parousia has caused considerable confusion among Bible readers, so we really need to define the term first. From all accounts, and when you consult any Greek lexicon, parousia is a compound word, which is a word formed by two other words, and in this case, those words are para and ousia. Para is a Greek preposition that simply means alongside of, by, or from. We get the word paramedic from this. Ousia is a verbal term of being, nature, or essence. It comes from the verb eimi, which is I am, or to be, to exist. The verb pareimi is a cognate of the noun parousia. Parousia then simply means the arrival of the person or thing. In other words, it's being present. When one person visits another, he has arrived or is in their presence. We find a couple of examples of this in the intertestamental works from the Septuagint. In the book of Judith it reads, "For her arrival, Parousia, was reported from 10 to 10. In 2 Maccabees it reads, "When he told his companions of the arrival, Parousia, of the army." So it's really not so hard to understand. The parousia of Christ is a visitation or a personal coming or arrival to a place. It is a real visitation, just like it's used in the examples. But who is he visiting? Let's look at the book of Daniel, chapter 7. In that passage, one like a son of man arrives before the throne of God, the Ancient of Days, as he is called. It reads, "I saw a light in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven there came one like a son of man, and he came, pareimi, to the Ancient of Days, and was presented, pareimi, before him." In other words, this figure comes before God, to God in heaven, and is presented to him. This is a parousia. It is a parousia of the Son of Man. The term Son of Man simply means a man. For example, Daniel is called the Son of Man in chapter 8, verse 17. So here we have a Son of Man being present before God. This is a parousia of a Son of Man. The New Testament writers connect this word to the very event of Daniel 7:13 in Matthew 24:3, where the disciples asked the question. Now, it's important to remember that Jesus had already arrived and he is present with them. So they have to be asking for something else, a visitation not yet to have occurred. There's an interesting way that Peter uses the noun in 2 Peter 1:16 when he writes, "For we did not follow cleverly devised myths when we made known to you the power and coming, or parousia, of our Lord Jesus Christ. But we had been eyewitnesses of his majesty." They made known the power of Jesus. They made known the parousia of Jesus. How can they make known something that has not yet occurred? Well, they can't. They can make known something that has occurred, however, such as the parousia of Jesus Christ. They were eyewitnesses of Jesus personally because he was present with them when they walked around the countryside of Israel. Peter's going to explain further in verses 17 through 19. For he received honor and glory from God the Father when that voice was conveyed to him by the majestic glory, saying, "This is my Son, my beloved, with whom I am well pleased." We ourselves heard this voice come from heaven while we were with him on the holy mountain. So we have the prophetic message more fully confirmed. The prophetic message is probably that of Daniel 7:13. Peter was relating the vision of Jesus on the mountain where he was transformed before Moses and Elijah, which is known as the Transfiguration. There was a voice from heaven that said, "This is my Son." This was a preview. After Daniel saw the Son of Man come before the throne of God, he heard, "And to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed." Daniel 7:14. Note that Peter said he received honor and glory, not will receive. This is what Daniel saw too. Now listen to John the Apostle, who recorded these words in John 17:5. "So now, Father, glorify me in your own presence with the glory that I had in your presence before the world existed." Jesus, before his incarnation as one like a Son of Man, was with glory and honor and power of God the Father as the Son. Nothing new here. Yet here is now the Word made flesh, and this being made glorified again involves his incarnation. One to be glorified with the Father as one like a Son of Man. Jesus could manifest his glory, that he had all power before his disciples. However, Jesus was to fulfill the prophecy that one like the Son of Man would receive all glory, honor, and power by personally coming to the Ancient of Days. Putting this all together then, the disciples in Matthew 24:3 are essentially asking Jesus, "What is the sign that you are the Son of Man?" in Daniel 7:13-14. "How will the world know what we have seen? How will they know that you are at the right hand of the Father? What is that sign?" When Jesus gives his answer in Matthew 24:30, he effectively quotes Daniel 7:13. "Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the sign of the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." The Son of Man in heaven is Daniel 7:13. Coming upon the clouds of the heaven is Daniel 7:13, taken word for word from the Greek version of the Hebrew. By noting the question, "What is the sign of your parousia?" Jesus answered with Daniel 7. The parousia then is Daniel 7:13 and 14. The sign is what will have been seen. The sign is that the parousia is and has already taken place. Now we can see that in Daniel, Jesus is not visiting earth. He's being presented in heaven to the Ancient of Days. This is then a scene in heaven, not on earth. It is when he receives all power and authority. Peter has noted that this has happened, so the parousia cannot be something in the future to him. If in fact it is the coronation of Jesus at the right hand of the Father, and that the Son of Man was glorified with the glory he had before his incarnation, then the ascension of Christ to the right hand of the Father is the parousia of the Son of Man before the Ancient of Days. The parousia of the Son of Man is the exaltation of Jesus, the Son of Man, who personally visited, arrived, and came to the Ancient of Days. This was upon his resurrection from the dead. Well, wait a minute. If it occurred at his death and resurrection, why is he relating it to the destruction of the temple? Remember, the disciples asked, "What is the sign that you are the one? How will the world know what we know, what we have seen?" When the tribes of the earth mourn because of the terrible fate that is coming to the city, Jerusalem, that's the sign. It is the sign that Jesus has been exalted to the right hand of God. It is the visible sign that he has been installed The man, Jesus Christ, has been installed as king, and all dominion has been given to him. Jesus ascended to the right hand of the Father and is in heaven personally as the Son of Man, a full human being, his parousia before the Father. There's much more to be said about the parousia of the Son of Man and also Matthew 24. In later videos, I will elaborate on some of those. However, if you would like to get a more detailed understanding of the term parousia, again, I really recommend getting Sam's book. The link will be in the description below. Please like and share and visit Sam's blog.